We wanted to take a few minutes to talk about what makes Mila different because we know there's so many options in the Pensacola area and the surrounding areas for you to go and have aesthetic treatments. And it's hard to know who to choose as your provider and what medical spa to choose. So we really wanted to tell you what we think sets us apart, but we also want to hear from you and hear what you think, why you come to Mila, why you come see Megan, me, Katie, Brooke. So we just wanted to have a little conversation. The first thing I think that sets us apart is that we really try to foster long-term relationships with our patients. And that's obviously true with me because some of my patients I've been seeing for 10 years. And I don't see it as a one-time treatment. I don't do this just to make money. I really love what I do. I have a passion for it. And I think all the women that work at Mila have a true passion for the industry. We want to have relationships with our patients. So we focus on a long-term care plan. We focus on the follow-up. We really want you to have the best result. And we know that you're also like our walking billboard. And so you represent us. And the way that you look is important to us because we want you to be happy. But also we know that the way you look is going to be what, makes your friends come in. And it's part of our reputation in the industry. So that is really important to me. Over the last year, have really focused on providing 1-year care plans. Instead of just telling you what we're going to do at your next visit, I tell you what we're going to do at your next 3 to 4 visits. And I was telling Meg today, one of my goals is to also start doing kind of like a 3 to 5 year plan, because I think once we get past that 1-year plan, we also want to know, we're in our 30s. We know we're going to need these treatments for the next, 15, 20, 30 years. And so we want to know what that maintenance is going to look like long term. So I do want to start developing even longer care plans for my patients because I know they're going to be with me for a really long time.
And then they kind of know what to expect and they have that in the back of their mind.
Yeah. And you've gotten really good at doing 1-year care plans as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's important because people will come to you and they know they need multiple treatments, but seeing it on paper and having that conversation with them and just kind of educating them is so important.
Yeah.
So they know what to expect now and then 1 year from now and 2 years from now, and they can budget for it and they can just plan for it. So I think that's important.
I think budgeting is such an important thing too, and we do offer a lot of financing options at Mila, and we are willing to work within your budget. That might mean maybe getting one area Botox treated instead of 3 or 4, and that's okay. Or it may mean, hey, we're going to start you on some skincare products today, and then you'll come back in a few months whenever you've saved up, and you can come get your Botox then. I feel like we are all very ethical providers, and we're going to do what's best for you, and that's just part of the culture and mission at Mila.
Yeah, I think I would rather if you're on a budget, you see us, you get treated with what you can afford that day, and then I know you're going to come back 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more times.
Yeah.
Versus just being like, oh, well, you need to spend this much, and it's not going to be good if you don't spend this much. Yes. I would rather you come back multiple times and have multiple treatments.
And I think it's important to say too, we don't have sales quotas at Mila, and a lot of places do. That's very common in our industry. Is you have to sell a certain amount of services and a certain amount of product per day. And we really our goal is of course to help our providers grow and, make our patients happy, but there's no minimum daily that anyone is expected to make. Yeah. It's what the patient needs.
Yes, exactly. I think what makes us stand apart is definitely the culture at Mila. I feel like that our patients are our friends, and we provide white glove service like from the moment that you come in and sign in to check in. And that's important to me. And I think it's important to our patients as well that they feel supported and heard and loved. And they're like our friends. They're part of the Mila crew, and they have fun when they're with us. And that's important. That's what makes us stand apart for me.
I totally agree. And I know that some of us do run behind me. I'm talking about myself. But that's because I spend whatever time is needed with each patient that's in my chair. And so while I might have a little bit of a wait to get in to see me, or the day that you're there might be a little bit of a wait, it's because I do try so hard to customize every single visit to what the patient needs. And I don't want you to feel rushed, and I want you to be able to bring up whatever concerns you have. Yes. And I do feel like implementing the care plans has helped a lot with me staying on schedule, because we're not having to have a conversation each visit about what we're going to do. We already have that plan.
Right.
And we can move through it. Yes. So that's been super helpful. But when Meg says white glove service, that really means from the time you check in, our girls up front are just as educated as we are in the back. So we really focus on a lot of education in the clinic. And that's education from as far as all the different rewards programs, or the skincare products, or the specials of the week, or anything that we have going on. I think that we work really hard to communicate within the company. And I do feel like some businesses do struggle with communication. And honestly, we still have those issues sometimes too, but we really try hard to communicate within the practice and make sure everyone's on the same page. And that, I think, shows through with our customer service. I feel like we all kind of know what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. Even Yvonne, our front desk girl, she's so amazing. And Allie and Cassie and Jess, all the people that sit up front, they know. And a lot of times they don't even have to come to us to ask questions because they've already been informed and they can educate patients just as well as some of us, I feel like.
I do too.
So,
and that's why, it was so nice for all of us to be able to go to Vegas together, because we really value every single position in the office. It's not just the providers that get continuing education, it's from front to back. And that
they're just as important, if not more important, I feel like, than us, because that's who the patient sees when they first walk in the door, and that's the last face they see when they leave.
You're 100% right.
It's important.
I think that the front desk is probably the most valuable position in the office, honestly, because exactly what you just said, it's first face, last face.
And they answer the phones, they talk to the patients, and they build that moment of the very first interaction they have is important. And it's a first impression and also a lasting impression, so it's important.
I've actually, not in aesthetics, but there have been different medical practices that I've gone to, and I've stopped going to the practice because of my interactions with the ancillary staff. And so you can be a great provider, but if your supportive staff isn't, making your patients feel warm and welcome, that can really affect your business.
I agree. And speaking of the staff, I think that's another thing that sets us apart, is that we are full service, and we do have, Cassie's an esthetician, Courtney and Tanya, and they see their face in the office and they know them and they see them on our social media. So when we give a care plan to our patients and it includes microneedling or hydrofacials, we provide all of that within the walls of Mila, and they know those people and they feel comfortable with them. So I think that's another thing that makes us stand apart.
Yep, I totally agree. We also are a business that focuses on philanthropy. So Meg and I are here doing this event today, and $2 per every unit that we sell is going back to the Gulf Coast Sexual Assault Program. And we are on a mission to choose a different organization every single year that we can support, because while we want to build up the women on our team and our patients that come to see us, we also want to focus on the community as a whole. And that was really important to me as a business owner, was to have a holistic vision of the community and not just focus on our bottom line. And ultimately, whenever you care about your staff and you care about your patients and you care about your community, it really comes back to you anyway. And that is a feeling of fulfillment and just overall happiness that I'm able to experience.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I love that about us.
Yep. And I think it's important just to actually love on one another. And I think that resonates through Mila, and all of our team really cares about one another. If someone's running behind, we try to help them. I know some of the girls will change the sheets for the esthetician sometimes, to keep them on track. And it really
draw
is
up tops.
Yeah.
All the things.
It really is a team affair. We really do lean on one another and love one another. I know that's really rare, and that doesn't always happen in business, but it is possible. And I think that in our industry, it's so normalized to be catty and rude and very hard with this business.
Yeah, the petty girl stuff is so played out, though. That's so old school. They need to just make their way out.
And the reality is that there have been situations. Obviously, I've been in the industry for a long time, and I've gone through situations that aren't ideal, but I'm not going to sit on here and say anything negative, because I have so many good things going for me. I don't have time to focus on the bad. So if you're interacting with a provider that has a lot of negative things to say, I think that you should maybe find somewhere else that makes you a little bit happier, because
that is what, honestly, that is for me, what makes you stand apart is you're a business owner, but you've also never badmouthed other providers. And no matter what's happened to you in the past, with everything, and you starting Mila, you've never had anything negative to say. And it just speaks so much about you and who you are as a person. So obviously I'm partial and I love her so much,
but I do think that if you're happy and you're successful and you're busy and you have women in your corner, there's just not room to have negativity. So I'm happy.
And not only do we care about each other, though, we truly do care about the patients too. And that's so important, is for you to walk through the door and feel like these are my friends and they're fun and they're going to take care of me. We are fun. If you follow us on social media, you probably already know this, but I think that's important. It's not, obviously you're there to get a service, but you also want to feel like you're part of a girl gang, and the patients feel like they're our friends, and we love that. You are our friends. You're important to us, and we want you to obviously get the best treatment and be happy with that, but also to feel like even you could just come to be hanging out with us,
Yeah.
not even getting any treatments. Don't you think?
I love hearing about my patients' vacations, like especially during the summer. I'm like, where are you going? Like, tell me about your trip. Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely, that makes my day. It makes me happy. So
Yes.
yeah, it is.
So what you see on social media really is real. Like, that is not put on. We don't like even plan that stuff.
We
like,
really
it's
have
so,
dance parties.
Yes.
It's a real thing.
We're dancing back there.
And I think the other key thing that makes Mila different is that we, going along with education, like we're always going to have the latest technology because we go to other countries. Like I've gone to Europe the past few years because they have technologies before us. If you wait to see what comes out in the US, you're like 2 or 3 steps behind. And so we're always going to invest in the latest technologies, the latest, like I was doing PRF many years ago when people were still doing PRP because I focused on what newer technologies were out.
Mhm.
I started doing exosomes years ago. We were able to invest in the latest Cyton device, and that's because we know that's the best technology on the market for our patients. We really
Yeah,
focus on
and that Moxie is the bomb, and we're the only person with that Moxie handheld, so we're super pumped. You guys have to come and see. Look at Brittany's face; she was already so beautiful, but she got the Moxie and
glowing.
yeah, glow.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, glow. But anyways, we want you to know what sets us apart because again, there are so many options, and there's a lot of great options in Pensacola. We're friends with
so many great options.
all of the businesses in Pensacola, so you can't necessarily go wrong. But I do encourage you to really identify why you're going to a certain place. Are you getting the care that you really deserve? Are you getting the results that you want? If you're looking for the best, it's at Mila.
We're here. Come see us. Join the Mila crew.
Yeah.